opportunity to come to talk about your school district, Jackson County. Lord, I ask you to continue to watch over and bless each one of our staff members, our students, and the parents of these students, Lord. And I ask you to be with us as we go over your business today, and that it would be to enrich not only the county, but the school district and the families that attend. We ask this in your most precious name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's meeting of the Jackson County Board of Education, where we will discuss the business and financial needs of the district. And later on, we will enter into closed session to consider executive session. Okay, at this point, I will entertain the motion for consent agenda items.
I'd like to make the following motion for the following items for consent agenda. D1, D3, 4, and 5, E2, F, 1 through 24, G, 1A, B, C, D, and E, 2A, 2B, 3A, 4A and B, H, 1A through G, and 2A, J, 1 through 8, K, 1 through 21, and L, 1 through 12.
Okay, you have heard consent agenda items in the form of a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? 4 and absent. I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Howard.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bailey. Any discussion? All in favor? 4 and absent. Minutes. We need to approve the July 14, 2025 meeting minutes. Item 6A. Jack, are we okay on
Yeah,
these?
everything's good with them, and everybody was here.
Okay, I need a motion on item 6A. Motion by Mr. Bailey. Second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? 4 and absent. Okay, do we have any acknowledgements for?
No, sir, not
Any
today.
acknowledgements this
Yes,
week?
sir.
I guess it's the start of the school year,
It is.
so we haven't
That's
got
right.
any,
We anticipate
any
some for next
activities
month.
yet. Okay, good. Any public comments?
No, sir.
Public comments. Brad, construction update.
Yes, sir. So I left some of these things on here, even though the CTEs and the bleachers are finished. We're working through some warranty items on each of the CTEs, and the bleachers, we added in some additional fencing and sidewalk, kind of after the fact. The sidewalks are done, fencing has been ordered, so that's in the works, and that'll wrap that one up completely. Concession stand, it's still tracking along. I've got some pictures here next, but the only thing, just to bring to your attention there, and it may not even be an issue, but we did get a notification that the canopy out front has been delayed in shipping. So there's a potential that the canopy is, right now it's scheduled to arrive the Monday after the first Sunday. So I told them that that's those 3 days, posting that 3 days, that we can move that up about 1 week. And that would obviously be good, but that wouldn't keep us from opening and having, concessions and restrooms available. It just wouldn't have the canopy on the front.
Yeah. We don't have a home game for a couple of weeks.
Right.
So we'll get leeway there, but not much.
Well, that's using the leeway. It's scheduled right now for the Monday after the first home game. So,
Hope it don't rain.
but we're, there's still a chance that we get it there. We get it on time. The East Central roof, I'm a little worried that we're behind schedule. We had a conference call scheduled for 3 o'clock today that the contractor didn't make. So I was hoping to hear an update before this, but I mean, he still can catch up. I'm just a little concerned that the pace that we're on, I don't know that he's got the year to catch up. But at the same time, I'm reluctant to push them very hard because twice now they've torn off and then it's rained and it's rained inside. So I'm a little reluctant to really push them and they tear off more than they can handle and we get a rain and then we've got a bigger problem. So we just continue to kind of work through it. 160 days is still a good while, but I would like to admit that I'm wrong at this point. So,
It's also the heart of hurricane season too.
right. So,
Football is coming, I mean, we got some dry weather coming in front of it too.
yeah, and so far, other than the leaks that we had were over summer, which was helpful. And I don't think that I've heard of any disruptions to operations. I know y'all just got back, but. So, as long as we're not disrupting anything, slow and steady is better than fast and reckless. So that's what I've got for this month.
I think that's the sidewalk you were asking about behind, Mr. Lee, that's gonna be coming up to the back side of it there behind the stadium.
Yeah, it's a bigger sidewalk. I don't know how to fix it, but it's a 10-foot sidewalk coming back this way towards the bleachers. So at some point, whenever it delivers, you have to get off a little bit of highway to make it all the way in.
What kind of cage off any of that electrical?
I believe, I don't know if you have fencing on there.
Yes, it does. There's a fence that comes in, somewhere right in there, but I think it's on this side of the panel and turns back to the cafeteria, to the concession stand. So concession stand people will still be in there, but fans cannot be. And it'll come across the sidewalk with a gate and it ties back in. I don't know if you got some more pictures.
Yeah, there's some pictures of
Do
the.
the fence out by the parking lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
it runs out, the fence is gonna run where the portalet and all is, it'll run the whole length of it all the way back to the field house. Then it turns back into the concession stand right there somewhere. And that way, and that's all fenced off, so keep people from getting behind the concession stand, behind any of the electrical stuff. They're kept in front of the concession stand and the bleachers.
And that's where they're out of fencing right now. So they're trying to set posts. The fencing will be installed and 20 gates will be installed last. So if the gates don't make it, then we'll just have to temporarily secure off the areas where the gates are gonna be.
And we're cutting this fence down right here in front of the concession stand, make a 4-foot fence for, view and say, not to the fence. And then somebody wants, if people wanna stand out there and watch the game, by the concession stand, kind of stand there. So that's the that's what the awning will be right there in front of the concession stand, so it'll be a little covered.
That's it.
Yeah. Other pictures weren't much,
They've been getting some updates along the way, some aerials and stuff, so.
A lot nicer than that was there before.
No doubt, no doubt.
I'm excited to see what it turns out to be.
A lot of people are.
You got any questions for Brad?
The CTE, on the punch list, the very first one dealt with the drainage. There was a washout. Has that been addressed? Are we hopefully not going to see that every time?
So
Raise.
we've addressed it a few times. At this point, I don't know if we've had any washouts. It's as good as it can possibly get right now. If, one day we had a lot of rain, I went out there, the water did cool up towards the, where the old, tank park in that area, coming back towards the high school. It did cool up there. Right, it was out and done pretty quickly. So, they're as deep as they can go without us getting in the.
Water, out there.
And we can keep make that one bigger, but you lose that whole feeling, so. But I feel a lot better about it today than I did 3 months ago.
And I was out there the other day after a big rain, and I talked to both the teachers, because I was talking about the water level in there, and they said, on that side that you're talking about, it went down really fast.
Yeah, it disperses pretty quick.
That's great.
Thank y'all.
Okay, move on to financials. We have pretty much everything on consent here except for the 2025 monthly financials for July. Discussion on those reports. Questions? Very good. Move this down to policies. We have several items on present here, items 25 through 46, questions on policies on present for this month.
Loaded up.
That's right. Every month.
But you also see, hopefully, that she's trying to also get rid of obsolete policies.
Oh, I agree, yes.
Been needed for many years, so.
Covered by the state, and we're getting rid of ours, so.
So we'll be getting much faster at this subsequent years.
It seems like it's the never-ending process, but I am trying.
Didn't know what you were taking on.
It's a beast.
A massive amount of policies, and I think our policy overall is fairly good. I think there's several policies that we could be modeled for the state, in fact. So I appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Agreed.
It's making it so compliant. Let's see. Instruction, special education, takes us to item G2C, approved contract services between the Jackson County School District and rehabilitation services. Motion for item G2C.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Howell,
Second.
second by Mr. Bailey. Any discussion on this item?
Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, this is to help with our blind students on servicing them. And Monty and Ms. Stallworth can go into more detail. But in essence, many districts around us are running into the same problem that we are, in that it is hard to find someone to come in person to service and train our kids with this. We're very fortunate that just toward the end of the week, we found someone who would come in person to be able to service our kids. So we're just very fortunate that she was able to fit us into her schedule. So we've been looking for months. Am I wrong, Ms. Stallworth?
No, you're correct.
And so we have found somebody.
And we had spoken to this person actually a few months ago, and she turned us down.
Just didn't have room.
And she just came back to us, so we were very fortunate to get her on board.
Yep.
So that's this, the first one is the OM rehabilitation services, that's for the in-person services.
That's correct.
Yeah. We've had some emails come around. I know that you guys are aware of this one. We prefer in-person services for
Absolutely.
this one at all
We do
costs.
too.
Yes,
So I think that's the way we need to go.
correct.
Okay. Any other questions on this item? Ready to vote? Okay, all in favor? 4-0. And item G2D, which is to approve contract and addendum between Jackson County School District and the Stepping Stones Group. Do I have a motion for item G2D?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey. Second by Mr. Howell. Discussion on this item.
I would like
What
to
is
say-
this?
Okay,
This
so
was the thing that I think was originally.
this was our
on
fallback plan if we could not find somebody in person to come and service our kids. Unfortunately, other districts are having to do this. It's remote. It is not ideal. It's not what we want to do. But in the absence of a person that can come and service our kids, this is the second best option we can find. So right now, we're not going to use them unless it's an absolute emergency situation and we can't find anyone. So that's our plan with this for right now. We're not going to use them because we have a person to come in and do it, but if for some reason something happens, we've got a fallback plan while we're still looking for another in-person to come in if we need to.
Okay, so what's the likelihood that we will have a backup that's another in-person?
We have not found one right now.
We're still searching for that.
We are, but again, it took us months to finally get one person. I would hate to see what would happen if that person decides they don't want to do it anymore. So,
How do we contract them today, Rebecca or Ronnie? Is she, the person that we did get in person, will they have a contract for the full year, or is it a like a
They would have
PRN?
a contract for the full year.
I got you. Okay,
25, 26.
Yeah, split 25,
We
26.
renew it every year.
okay, yeah, I didn't know, some of that's, you know, PRN, I didn't know how, some of that stuff's different, I just wanted to ask.
How were we handling it prior to this year?
We've had a person, an in-person prior to this year, but they left at the end of last school year. So we spent, once we got notice that that person was not returning, we've been looking since then. Now, we have used virtual services before as kind of a backup, or not really a backup, but to augment the in-person services that we have in some other areas. But we had never been solely virtual in O&M. But when you can't find a live person, you're still required to provide the services. And this was the only option that we had available to us at the time.
Okay, and so our contract is structured to not actually render payment unless they actually call it upon, is that right? We're not obligating the districts to pay for two OEMs, one that we're not using.
No retainer, just if we have to use them, it'll be an hourly service.
Okay.
Can we get another report on this for what the progress is being made of the backup services at the following
Absolutely.
board meeting? Because I want to make sure that this is covered. Sure. Any other questions?
I have a question. Am I able to, I prepared some.
I'm sorry, this is a private meeting for the school board. Okay.
Comment. Any other questions on this item? Okay, we ready to vote? All in favor? 4 against. Okay, this takes us down to career and technology. Item G4C, which is to approve the FY26 JCSD CTE local plan application. A motion for item G4C. Motion on Mr. Howell. Second by Ms. Smith.
What is this? This is the, just local plan application from the state, you know, this year with funding and stuff has been pushed back. This is something that y'all usually do or approve around March or April of every year. But funding kept getting pushed back. So, this is just the state allotment of money is broken down on how we plan to spend it and the programs we have and just kind of how we spend it. It's a thing that, we have to do from the state every year and send back to them.
Okay. Everybody had a chance to look at this? Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
I missed the, who made the motion and second?
Mr. Howell made a motion and Ms. Smith made the second. So that takes us down to 16th section leases, item I. I1, I2, Mississippi Forestry Commission annual report. Do we have anybody from the Forestry Commission here to issue that report?
No, it's
That's just an
FYI,
attachment.
yeah.
I don't want to leave anybody out who's supposed to present. Item I3 then, approve 2026 annual Mississippi Forestry Commission Development Program applications. Motion for I3.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey,
Second.
second by Mr. Howell. Any discussion on this item? All in favor? 4 no. Item I4, approve Mississippi Forestry Commission authorization for services. Do I have a motion for I4?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Howell,
Second.
second by Ms. Smith. Any discussion on this item? All in favor? 4 no. Item I5, approve 4 new singular wireless PCS LLC small cell lease amendments. Do I have a motion for I5?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Bailey,
Second.
second by Mr. Howell. Where are these going to be located?
They're already there,
They're already
at
in place.
Seymour. Yeah, this is their, the reappraisal time.
Yeah.
Oh, they're renewing?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I didn't know if they were putting up new towers. All right, all in favor? 4 no.
That was, Mr. Bailey made the motion.
Bailey made the motion, Mr. Howell made the second.
Okay, and on, I-3,
Mr. Bailey made the motion and Mr. Howell made the second.
sorry about that.
All right, I've got it, Jack. Item I6, approve request to Jackson County Board of Supervisors to strike 2020 and 2021 16th section taxes on parcel 023-163-10.100. Motion for I6.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Smith.
Second.
Second by Mr. Howell. Why are we doing this?
So the previous lessee, so this lease has been assigned to somebody else. And the previous leaseholder didn't pay taxes in 2020 and 2021. And the new leaseholder, they have it on hold, so they cannot pay their taxes until we strike it with the county. And it's just a request for the county to wipe the taxes clean, so the new
So we can
leaseholder.
start to lease it again.
Clean the slate on that.
Yes.
And the new person can take
The
over.
statute says that the present leaseholder can't be responsible for the taxes of the second.
And we've done this before,
Yeah, we've done it
a
before.
few months ago for a hunting and fishing lease. So,
Typically, on a piece of property, if someone doesn't pay their taxes, someone else can come and buy the taxes on it. In this situation, we can't do that. So in order to be able to lease it again, we need to clear the slate so the new person can start to lease and pay the taxes.
Understood. Any other discussion? All in favor? Vote no. Okay, that takes us to approving consent agenda. I'll have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda. Motion. Motion by Mr. Bailey. Second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? 4, Mr. Bailey.
Yeah, I'd like to start tonight, my report, just say, thanking parents and staff members. We're off to a super smooth start, other than your typical HVAC problems that you have at the beginning of the year and traffic problems, but really those have been minimal. And again, today I was with 2 different principals that were like, knock on wood, this is by far the smoothest start they've ever had. So again, kudos to our parents and our staff. It doesn't happen by accident. That's good planning and patience by our parents as well. So I'd like to thank them for that. Moving on down, we'll start our first month of attendance reports. So for the lower elementary for July, our winner was St. Martin East with 97.97%. The upper elementary, St. Martin Upper had 98.80. The middle school went to East Central Middle School with 97.94. And the high school went to Van Cleve High School with 97.81. But overall, kudos to Dr. LaPointe and his staff there at St. Martin Upper Elementary. 98.80 is a strong way to start. Can't promise this upcoming month is going to be that good, but just a short window of July, we'll take it as we can get it. Moving on to our certified classroom teacher report. So for the lower elementary, we had a 3-way tie with East Central Lower, St. Martin East, and St. Martin North with 99%. East Central Upper, 100%. Then for the middle school, had St. Martin Middle School with 98, tie-in Van Cleve Middle School at, Van Cleve had the 99. I have that one mismarked. And then Van Cleve High School has 99, but overall, when you've got 100%, that's tough to beat. So congratulations to Miss Miss Knight and her group there at East Central Upper Elementary. Moving on along for the planning meeting minutes, there's really nothing substantial in the planning meeting minutes other than a lot or two over in East Central, but it was only for like 2 homes. So, nothing really to report on, which I'm glad to see because, to be honest with you, watching the growth this past week and even today, especially at the elementary, both the lower and the upper elementaries, we are going to need to add some teacher units. We have just gone over the threshold of 25 per class, which I'm comfortable with. So I've gone out and met with some of the principals already. I've got one more principal I need to go meet with tomorrow, but we will be advertising for more teacher units so we can keep that student-to-teacher ratio low in our district, and just hope that they don't keep coming, because we have a number of other classes that are bumping right up to the 25 number right now. Yes.
At this time of year, I know
Yes,
it's
sir.
very difficult.
We've got one or two that are actually on staff that are ready to go right now, working as teacher assistants. So, and then it is our hope that a couple of the teachers that we were working with this summer didn't complete all the parts of the praxis. Hopefully by now, maybe they've fulfilled all the obligations and have a good license. We don't know. But the one thing I did tell principals, before you make a bad hire in desperation, be patient, because sometimes a bad hire is worse than just trying to get somebody in there and just dealing with your guys. So they know that, and we'll continue to work through it. In some of our schools, it doesn't make sense to just add one teacher unit because they are working in teams. And like a principal said, really, I need to hire 3 teachers instead of just one. So right now, they're going to let their classes swell a little bit more. When you have a self-contained homeroom class where you're teaching the kids all day, that's one thing. But when you're with a group of other teachers, it throws things out of kilter if you hire just one. But again, we're going to work with each principal and their individual needs to best take care of their school. But yes, we are growing on the elementary side. But on the flip side, the high schools and the middle schools, for the most part, other than East Central Middle, they're all down. So it's weird.
Depends on waves.
That's it.
So
But
wave is gonna roll forward.
now, we had a number of families today register. They're military families. So we may be getting some military families that are just now getting orders and moving in. A couple were down at the Navy housing down here in Van Cleve. So we may see some more, but I'll keep you up to date each week on where we are with that.
Classroom space to come.
Yes, sir, we have classrooms. Mr. Labayata and I went this summer and toured every single facility to make sure that we have room, and if so, where are we going to put them? But also to help us plan for the future, if and when we want to do some building expansions, where do we need it actually? So we will have a comprehensive plan for you. If not at the end of this semester, probably by the beginning of the next semester, that we would recommend for y'all. That will address each attendance center and where it would be best to add on if we choose to do so. Okay. Let's see here. And I think that's it for my report for today. So, okay.
Everything.
No, we really don't.
All right, well, much like the smooth start of the school year, it'll be a smooth start of the board meeting. I guess we could entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn, Mr. Bailey. Second by Ms. Smith. All in favor? 4-1. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
28 minutes?
Is that the record?
No.
No, I think 22.
Yeah, but I think that's a record without executive.
That's true. That is true.
We had that, Sean, but then we were in executive for a while.